What's up, everyone? It's the Coach Ed Gladney here, and this is Coach Ed's Amazing World of Sports. I thank everyone for tuning in today. I really appreciate you guys taking the time out to check out today's episode. Today, I'm going to be talking about the Kayvon Thibodeaux cut block incident, going over a little bit of the rules and the play itself and what happened in terms of the play. So, again, thank you guys for tuning in. If you haven't already done so, please subscribe. Make sure you like this episode. Share on all your social media platforms. I really appreciate it. You guys are really helping me out. And with that, um, one of the things that in my research, I wanted to double check the rule. And in doing so, we all know that for the most part, if you don't already know, the play technically is legal. Um, Thaddeus Moss, who is the tight end for the Cincinnati Bengals, was it well within the rules to, cut the way he did or as low as he did. Now, whether we feel it's dirty, that can stay up for the debate. But in all reality, the rule is the rule. Coach Dave will even alluded to that. It is the rule. There are teams that use this type of technique. So it's up to the defense, or the defender to be prepared on how you prepare yourself and defend yourself when you know a player will cut in that manner. But again, my personal opinion, it does seem a little bit kind of dirty. But again, it is the rule. Whenever I've coached offensive line, one of the things that I've always done in terms of, teaching the cut block at all levels is the aiming point. And I've always taught aiming at the hip to right above the thigh. The player, when you go to cut, your head is automatically going to go down. You can't keep your head up when you're cutting. You're going to dip your head. And being that you're dipping your head, you're continuously going down. Now, being that with the cut block, the goal is to get the defender off his feet if you can, and get him to go down. That's the reason, one of the reasons why your head is going to go down and your body is going to follow suit. And then, of course, when you dip your head, it the force is going to pull you in that manner. So if you're aiming at the hip or right to the thigh point, right about the upper thigh area, even if you're dipping your head, you're going to drop your head and you're going to go down to maybe the knee. I know it's taught to attack the knee so you can get them off. Some, teach trying to go even lower than that, but again, like I said, I've always taught, attack the hip and to the upper thigh. You also have better control of the defender once you get your shoulder into, their legs. And also trying, if you're coming across, make sure your head is in front of them. You don't want to try and get behind them because defender can slip off and still make the play if you miss. So at least you want to get him, if he's going to slip off of you, he will slip away from where you're trying to set the block up. So in terms of the rule, it's rule number 8 within the NFL operations section of the rule book. It's rule number 8, section 4, article 5. And this also goes to both offensive and defensive players. Defensively, years ago, defenders used to cut block. They used to come flying in and take an offender off of his legs so he can't go and block or, create depth or separation for the runner to have. So you create a pileup right there and force the runner to either avoid the pileup going into, your assistance players who are coming to help you with the tackle, or he's bouncing away from that, which is extending it and allowing your defense to rally to the ball and get there and make the play. So that's no longer legal. So, as a defender, if you're on the outside, you have to stay up. Now, the rule states it is an illegal cut block if an eligible receiver who takes position takes a position more than 2 yards outside of his own tackle. Now, is blocked below the waist, at, behind, or beyond the line of scrimmage. Now, that's point A within the rule, and that's what I'm focusing on. Um, Basically, the lining up more than 2 yards outside. So if he's 2 yards outside, you can't defensively, you can't cut block him. But also, that means he cannot cut block anyone because he's 2 yards outside of the tackle box. He has to be within 2 yards of the tackle box to be able to utilize the cut block. So that usually means it goes for tight ends, wings, running backs, all of those players. If they're within the tackle box, they can utilize the cut block. So in the play, Moss actually is a wing player. He's right behind the tackle on his outside. So he's within that 2 yard window. If he was in line and next to the tackle, he still would be in the 2 yard window because he's at the tackle position. So as I said earlier, he's technically well within the rules of the game to actually cut blocks. So as I said earlier, also, me personally, I think it was dirty because of how he cut. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring up the actual play because I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. If I'm coaching Kayvon, there are some coaching points that I would go over with him to help him better defend himself. One of the things that I did notice is he was a little bit high based on how Moss was coming at him. Could he have gotten lower? You'll notice that when he bends, he's actually bending at his hip instead of using his knee. The old theory, when you're lifting something, don't bend at the waist, bend with your knees, and then lift using your legs. Same thing when you're trying to get low, because in football, we always talk about the low man wins. So you're trying to get as low as possible, especially if you're trying to take on a block. When the player is coming low like that, you want to get your shoulder as low as possible to meet his level, if not get under his level. So Kayvon did come high, in somewhat high, and bending at the waist instead of getting lower using his legs. But again, those are just simple coaching points that he can utilize to help prepare himself so he doesn't get caught in a situation like that. One of the other points I'm going to talk about is what his responsibilities are on the play. I don't know the full call. I don't know the full responsibility, but if I'm scouting the Giants defense, this is how I'm identifying it. I've also talked to you about what the offense is doing, how they're blocking it, and then what I'm assuming Kayvon's responsibility is based on what the running back does, of course, how the block comes, how the offensive line blocks. So let me take a moment and bring this up so we can go ahead and look at this together. Share screen. And again, I got this from Yahoo Sports, courtesy of Talking Giants. So if you're on Twitter, you can also pull up Talking Giants and take a look at it. So on the field, you're going to see right here, this is Thibodeaux. You're going to have Ellis right here at the nose guard. You're going to have Jalen Holmes at the 3 tech and Quincy Roche. This is Beavers, and this is Tay Crowder. Of course, you have Rob. This is Darnay Holmes. The cornerback here is Zion Gilbert. This is Julian Love, and you have Adams in the deep end as the cornerback. And of course, right here is Moss. As I said, he's in the wing position, right behind the tackle. Literally, he's basically maybe a foot out. I mean, his foot is probably 6 inches on the outside shoulder of the tackle. So that's basically letting you know. So now you do have the outside receiver coming in what I call an orbit, which is bringing Holmes along with him. And of course, here is the running back. So now when you watch Thibodeaux, one of the things you're going to see is, number one, the right tackle. He's not going to come to block him. He's going to basically leave him alone. All right. And the rules are, as a defensive end, some rules are, you're taking 2 steps first of all, you want to understand what the down and distance is. Being that it's 1st and 10, in the where they're at the 15-yard line, with the formation, I'm anticipating run. That's the first thing I'm looking at. So if I'm the defensive end, your run attack is, initially 2 steps trying to read what's happening. You're taking 2 steps because you want to see, first off, what the offensive tackle is going to do. Is he coming to you? Is he blocking away from you? If you're taking 2 steps, you're going to know within your first step. So once your first step is, you're going to see where the offensive tackle is going. And then you're going to, if you feel it's a run, you're going to what I call squeeze, and basically is step, shuffle, shuffle, if that's the technique that is taught. But Thibodeaux doesn't do that. He's automatically crashing. So I say that he's a spill defender. And what I mean by spill defender, his job is to get up in here and either push the play, if it's coming this way, back towards his inside defenders, because they're going to be coming to help. They should be flowing and coming so they can make the play because he's pushed it to them. But if not, if the back cuts to the outside, that's where the word spill comes into play. You're spilling it. Now, this is where Tae Crowder comes into play, because Thibodeaux, because he is crashing, he's no longer what is known as the contain guy. All right, he's crashing. Tae Crowder becomes the contain guy. So now his angle is coming right off of Thibodeaux. 2 steps, read, come to the outside. 2 steps, read, back. What is the tackle doing? Those are your keys. So when you read your keys and you see that tackle is coming for you, they're blocking down. He's crashing. Thibodeaux's coming in here. In essence, Thibodeaux normally would have responsibility for the outside C gap, which is outside the tackle, but now they were switching it and Tae Crowder would have the B gap, but because he's crashing, Tae Crowder is going to have both B and C, while Beavers is going to have the strong A to the weak side B. All right, because that allows him, if the back comes here, he can fill coming into this gap. And if he cuts back to the outside, he now can trail straight, come right here. Once it's filled, kicked, he can make the tackle, whichever one. So this play is actually designed in some regards for the linebackers. But getting back to Thibodeaux, because he crashed, and what the back is going to do, and because of the block, and the other factor is the offensive line. Now, I talked about the right tackle scooping underneath and coming for Tae Crowder. These two, the center and the right guard, are doubling Alice. The left tackle is attacking Holmes, and the left guard and the left tackle is taking Roche, where he's coming across, where he has responsibility for Thibodeaux. Now, because 1, 2, 3, 4, when they block, they show their backs to the camera. That tells me, and because he's coming this way, and if you're going to see when he engages with Tae Crowder, he also holds on the play, but that's a call that was missed. But he's in a sense almost facing the camera. That number 1 tells me the hole is supposed to be right there. Also, because of Moss, with him coming across and kicking, because that's his responsibility, even though he's cutting, his job is to get him out of the way or get him off his feet so the back can come here and then come right up into this hole. That's the way the play was designed, but because Thibodeaux crashed, the back comes here, steps here, but he cuts back in here where all the flow and all the traffic is. So let's take a look at it and you're going to see. Now, we're going to go back a little bit. That's the result of the play. So we have the orbit. You're going to see Holmes coming across, and you're going to see the motion. Let's watch Thibodeaux. Now, Thibodeaux, you see what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4. Backs to the camera. He's coming right at Thibodeaux. Tackle is attacking Tae Crowder. Back, because he steps this way, quarterback turns his back to Thibodeaux, making it seem like it's going this way, going away, which is influencing the block. So this way he can get kicked out, and then the back can cut back inside. Thibodeaux, you see he sees him. So in some regards, he is prepared to defend himself, but based on his reaction, he turned his shoulder, which I understand. That is normal. But there are times when some defenders will get their hands, stay face up to him, and then when he drops his head, take their hands and get it into their back, into the offensive blockers upper back, and push him to the ground, get him on the ground, and then stay on their feet so he can make a play. But now, when we see the back, you see he came this way, but now he's cutting back. He cut. I still think it's a dirty play, but because of where he attacked him, that's the other thing. Because he crashed, normally this block should be happening right about here. So if Kayvon doesn't crash, but if he's right about here when he comes, there is that possibility he may have stayed up high. But because Kayvon came in so quick, you want to get him off his feet as quick as possible because he's in the way. So, but now because he is there, what does the back do? He cuts back off of it, and you have Ellis there. You have Holmes sitting right here. You have Beavers coming in. I'm sorry, here's Home, here's Beavers. I'm sorry, Ellis, Beavers, Home. Tay Crowder, as you see, like I said, he's getting held. You also have Julian Love, but Tay Crowder takes his responsibility, so he's the outside guy. So no matter what, he's there and pushes it right into his defensive play. So Kayvon did do his responsibility, and he did do it fairly well. It's just his technique on taking on that block. If he takes on this block, we are not here talking about this play because he did his responsibility. He was the crash guy, while Tay Crowder is the contained guy whose responsibility for cutback, quarterback boot, or reverse, where he's in proper position to make the play. So again, we can take a look at it at full speed. You can see exactly what I'm talking about, which breaks it down in terms of the block, how he attacked Kayvon, but Kayvon was actually in perfect position other than taking on the block the right way. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about, let's take a look at it again. Let's watch Kayvon when he takes on the block. You see him here, ready to take on the block. You see how, let's back it up just a touch. See how high he is instead of getting a little bit lower. If he bends with his knee right here, both his knees, that brings him down. He doesn't get into his knees, or he gives him a smaller window to get into that. He may even give him his hip, which prohibits him from getting that low into his body. So again, those are just some key points that I wanted to talk about in terms of the play. Please do not think I'm blaming Kayvon Thibodeaux. I am not. It's just coaching points. Players make mistakes. That's what coaches are there for. That's what the film is there for. That's what we're going to talk about. This, I want to be a learning lesson. This is a learning experience for Thibodeaux. So in the future, which I think, because Thibodeaux comes across as a very smart guy. So I think he's going to say, I'm not going to go through this again. And he's going to be able to get down low. But that also allows him to explode into the blocker and drive them back when he is lower than them. So again, that's just my points, my thoughts. Go into the comments. Let me know what you think. I'll also post all this information in the description so you guys can take a look at it at your leisure. Let me know what you think. Again, just tell me what you think. If you really think I'm way off base, okay, just tell me, say so. If you agree with me, that's fine, but this is what I see, and as a coach, that's what I would teach. So thanks again for you guys for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys taking the time. Big Blue Crew, thanks for all your support. Love you guys always. Love you, amazing fans. And I'll see you in the future. And like I always say in sports, make sure you turn it on and turn it up. Peace.